This is One on One. Andea Taylor is founder and editor of Brick City Live. She is a fourth-generation Newarker. Is that true?
That is correct.
So who was here first?
My great-grandmother, Missouri Lied, was here first.
Came from where?
Came up from Georgia.
Wow.
Albany, yep.
So what's your deal? Did you always want to be a journalist?
Since I was about 16 or so, I wanted to be a journalist. Didn't really pursue that path in undergraduate school, but came back around to it after a couple of years working.
And so this whole Brick City Live, it is, how would you describe it?
I would describe it as a local news and information site. We cover a lot of lifestyle in Newark, and occasionally we'll try to unpack some more critical issues as well.
Okay, so people say, okay, doesn't the mainstream media, quote unquote, cover Newark? And the answer is?
They do cover Newark. They cover some aspects of Newark, but I think there are lots of gaps in coverage, particularly around lifestyle, entrepreneurship, the arts, culture. Those are the things that I've sort of jumped in to fill in.
Some really terrific stories that you've been able to tell that you wouldn't find in the so-called mainstream press.
I'd say my favorite story that we've ever done was called 5 Power Couples Changing the City.
5 power couples changing the city. Go ahead.
Yep, and it was a surprise Valentine's Day story. We chose 5 couples who either are from Newark or who are living here. They're together and they're doing awesome things in the city. And we decided to define a power couple not as sort of your top tier leaders, et cetera, but people who are really grinding it out, you know, at the sort of middle level, just everyday people who are doing great things on behalf of the city. And the response to that story was absolutely fantastic.
That's a wonderful idea. By the way,
Yeah.
we're putting up the information as to how people can get more information about the work you're doing. Who's the team?
The team is right now me.
You are an entrepreneur.
I'm very much an entrepreneur, and I was a one-woman show for a very long time. I also have a very fantastic Rutgers student named Laura Riley, who's been helping out with some editorial for about 5 months now. And as of today, we're actually starting our arts, culture, and scene reporter, and her name is Ashley.
You know, it's so interesting. You know, we started this production company, I was telling you before we got in the air, 27 or so years ago. And we were shoestring. I mean, that's being generous. What's it like, coming up with the idea and then living it?
It is amazing. It's very, very tough to do. I think when you want to do something like this, you kind of have to hurl yourself over the cliff, and you build your plane or you build your hang glider or whatever it is that's going to sustain you.
What about the business side?
The business side, I actually am very, very attentive to. So I think very critically about how I'm going to report stories, the sequence in which I'm building the editorial calendar, and then also we are looking at monetization right now with our new Brick City Bucks loyalty program in town.
The what?
The Brick City Bucks loyalty program.
What does that mean?
So Brick City Bucks is a loyalty program where we have a couple of businesses who have opted in to give deals to customers, and those businesses pay for the sort of access and marketing value of that. And then for the customer reader side, the program is free, so they get a card for now, and they can walk into these businesses and get deals. In about 4 weeks, we're going to be unleashing the app version.
It's interesting. In public television, we are not in business if we don't bring in corporate and foundation underwriters along with philanthropists who believe in what we're doing.
Yep.
How do you stay in business?
Well, I have a full-time job, so that helps.
Wait, hold on. You have a different job.
I have a different job, yep.
Okay, so it's not like you are paying the bills through this.
No, nope, not quite yet. So
Is that the goal?
The goal, actually, that was the goal initially. So I left a full-time job to do this. I did Brick City Live full-time for about a year. But as I really started to undertake this and think about the numbers in the business, what I determined was that I could do this, I could execute my goals really well part-time and create something that added a lot of value, and that it was actually more beneficial to the project if I was not trying to eat off of it. So for me,
you mean get paid?
To get paid. So to me, the goal, so I pay my contributors. So other folks who are working for me and writing for me do get paid. For me, the goal is to create something that is self-sustaining, but that does not have to sustain me. And so taking myself out of the equation has actually accrued a lot to Brick City Live.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Video there, or is it just text?
We have a little video, so it's mostly text, but we have done some video stories. The most popular one that we did was about a gentleman who moved from New York City to Newark, and is an executive who works in Brooklyn. but was really kind of sort of discovering the opportunities to live in Newark and some of the cost savings as well.
Yeah, as we're talking about this, obviously we'll talk offline. Just realizing that a series like this, Newark at a Crossroads, our video should be on your site.
I would love that.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should do business right on the air, but I'm just sitting there saying, how often is it or how significant is it that those of us in media need to collaborate and partner with each other?
Oh, we absolutely do. And there have been times that there's a New Jersey arts blog, for example. I featured some of their videos. I like to be really thoughtful about how to incorporate different content into the site. I don't want it to just park somewhere and not ever be seen. So I like to be really intentional with how I think about collaborations.
What did you learn about business?
Where did I learn about business? I've always worked for startup companies. So this is the first business that I've truly started on my own, but I've always been so close and adjacent to people who have founded companies that I've learned a lot about how to get them started and some of the pitfalls.
Before I let you out of here real quick, biggest misconceptions about Newark are?
Oh boy. Newark is complicated like any other place. And I think that probably the biggest misconception is that we don't have a very deep bench of entrepreneurial, talented people who are here working every day to make the city better for themselves and are succeeding at that in some quarters. Yep.
Biggest leadership lesson you learned so far is?
You have to lead by example and be a servant first. You know, I need to be the person who's out there in the rain and the snow. I need to be the person who's the first to get up and the last to go to sleep if I want anybody to follow me into this project.
Well, at Brick City Live, we wish Andea Taylor, the founder and editor, nothing but the best.
Thank you very much.
It's important that we have other sources of information about this city. It's an important
Absolutely.
city, Brick City. Good stuff. All
Thank
the best.
you.
Stay right there. We'll be right back from NJIT right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by Barnabas Health, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, TD Bank, Verizon Communications, PSE&G, the Fidelco Group, and by the North Ward Center. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been produced in cooperation with FiOS One News.